Warriors did just end up with 4, and Steph retired. Would people really be mad about that?
I mean, you're always wanting to have more, right? Let's start there. Like, you could always win more. We all agree, right? But we also understand that winning's hard. But I see comments like this, and I'm not trying to rip this individual. I think there's a lot of people that feel this way. Adrian Gutierrez. The Warriors have a generational talent in Steph Curry. You have to maximize his talent while he's here. Anything else would be crazy, because once Curry's gone, that's it. Of course, Steph Curry is a generational talent. Okay, of course he is. Curry has a lot of sway. Let's look at the current team. We can go back in time and talk about KD. We can go back in time and talk about acquiring Iguodala and what it took to set things up. Do we not think that Steph Curry has a large input on the roster they construct?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't he? All franchise players do.
I totally agree.
Jokic, Kawhi, Paul George, LeBron.
So, okay.
Dwayne Wade.
Let's
Embiid.
deal in reality, Warrior fans.
On and on.
Yeah, let's deal in reality. Salary cap's it starts the soft part at like 123, okay? 123 million. For sake of argument, let's say 125. Curry's making 52 this year. 52 million. Klay Thompson's making 44 million. Do you think Steph Curry wants Klay Thompson on the roster?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So let's do the simple math. You're looking at close to $100 million right there. Okay?
That's Draymond Green's $23 million.
There we go. Do you think Curry wants to play with Draymond Green?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you think he's co-signing Draymond Green? So now he makes $23 million.
Yep.
You are right
at the cap.
At the cap, the soft part of the cap, right? 3 players.
3 players.
So do you understand the rest of the NBA when it comes to the salary cap, how restrictive it is to assemble the rest of the team? Once you start going over that cap, you lose mid-level exceptions, you lose opportunities to trade, you have to match salaries. Now, the Warriors have gone above and beyond. They acquired Chris Paul.
Right.
We all know, via the Jordan Poole money, blah, blah, blah. They acquired Andrew Wiggins because Durant left them, and he did them a solid, and they were able to flip D'Angelo.
Keep that slot.
Okay. They went flying over to try to piece this thing together. Yes, they had a bunch of draft picks as well. How else are you going to round out the team around Steph Curry?
I've been trying to explain that to people, and I quit on that because obviously there's not an understanding of the salary cap.
It's just unrealistic.
It's just. What do you want? You want a gluttony of stars? Like Joe Lacob would love to have stars. Hell, Andrew Wiggins played so well. We were playing a highlight from him dunking on Luka Doncic in the 2022 Western Conference Finals. He was so good in that game, 27-11. We thought we had that guy. If he played up to his potential, Andrew Wiggins, and for whatever reason he struggled this season, the Warriors would be in a lot better shape. And you'd be in contention for another championship. It's not like the Warriors are not trying to win championships. When you get the benefit of going 15-50 and coming up with the number 2 overall pick, okay, you bombed on the pick. It happens. It won't be the first time. It wasn't the first time the Warriors have bombed on the pick, and it sure won't be the last time. The Niners, when was the last time they hit on a first-round pick outside of Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk? You know what I'm saying? They whiff and still try to win championships. It's hard to hit on every single player. Of
course.
It's hard.
It's even harder when playing time is even more restricted and you only have 5 guys on a court and you're getting less manicured, ready-to-play players in the NBA as opposed to the NFL. Right, B? Like, is the NBA player coming into the NBA draft, is he more prepared or less prepared for the professional game? We just
had this conversation with Bob yesterday because I know Bob was at the NFL Combine and interviewing NFL players. After playing 3 years of college to have the season, he could play it in front of 100,000 people at these big games, whether it's Michigan, Bama, LSU, Georgia, doesn't matter, Ohio State. They're more prepared to come in because when you're coming up into the NBA, you're playing hoops, you're one and done. What is that, 30 games at college, 35 games at college? You're on a college campus. You're there for a semester, maybe 2. And then, boom, you're in the real world. And you're not, and then you come into the NBA and it's like, oh, I'm not going to play much as a rookie. Or if I do, we're not going to win a lot of games. And then you develop bad habits, but you get your money or whatnot. It's just different.
It is different. But if your working premise is that the Warriors have let Steph Curry down, well then, because you're so obsessed with the Steph Curry thing, I get it. But can you also acknowledge
how though?
But let's just
think about it. Like, think about this. How I want to know. 888-957-9570.
I challenge someone to come in.
I can't believe we're discussing this on Steph Curry's 36th birthday. But how have the Warriors not try to win? What moves have they made to hamper their chances at winning a championship? If you want it, like it's just like the Giants last season. Everybody wanted the Giants. You were in the race. Buy. Well, number one, what are you going to buy with? What are you going to buy with? It takes something to buy. You know, you got to have premium players or premium farm to buy. What are you going to do to buy, and what is that going to net you?
The league, the NBA, unlike Major League Baseball, where you could just spend and spend and spend, unlike the NFL, where you can cut guys, when you lock someone into a contract, they're in.
Yep.
And it's very restricted to make moves around that. So, like, again, if you're a Steph Curry person saying, oh, my God, they're letting him down, can we at least acknowledge Steph's playing with who he wants to play with?
Right.
And I think he's earned that right.
But you're also limited. It takes two to tango. You think teams are willing to just trade with the Warriors just to trade? They're trying to do Warriors winning championships left and right.
But the league also set up rules to make it difficult
for the Warriors.
For teams like the Warriors to pump resources back in. They're paying historic amounts of money for these extra guys to be good. All right. And so I find it absurd that people would be mad at the Golden State Warriors for empowering their best player and not alienating him, right? Because how many other teams around the league have alienated their stars by not pouring money back in?
Also, not baked into the equation is when Clay received his contract coming off the torn ACL, we thought, okay, he's going to be back, cool. Then he tears the Achilles.
No one knew that.
He misses 2 full seasons.
If I would have asked every single person when they gave that extension for Clay, we all would have said, like, oh, are you kidding me?
It's a no-brainer.
Are you kidding me?
There was no pushback whatsoever in real time on the Klay Thompson contract.
We all had our hands in the air, feeling the spirit, saying, absolutely, the Splash Brothers are riding and dying together forever.
And here I am, Quinn Thompson hits the nail on the head on YouTube. People live 40 years to see 0 championships. Detroit Lion fans, I'm sitting next to Detroit Lion fans at the NFC Championship game. They've never seen their team play in a Super Bowl. Cleveland Brown fans have never seen their team play in a Super Bowl. Jacksonville Jaguar fans have never seen their team play in a Super Bowl. Hell, we've waited over 30 years. There's a lot of Niner fans who have never seen a championship. We've been blessed for 4 in the last decade.
Monte, basketball in the Bay Area was always a sleeping giant, right? Right? You would agree.
High school was great.
Yes.
We got Stanford and Cal were the most productive teams in this market for a long time.
With what's the coach's
Lamar
name?
Murray and Todd Bozeman.
Todd Bozeman, right? Like
Monty
no
Buckley,
doubt.
Randy Duck.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Who was Mark Madsen and
Madsen, the college twins. Arthur
Lee. I was going to say Arthur
Chris Weems, who's now an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors.
Exactly.
You know, Tim Young.
Those were the kind of like the Warriors gave us so few moments in my like youth and in my young adult life. Literally, I thought was going to be the greatest thing that ever happened to the Warriors. I really did.
Well, not only that.
I really did.
No, I read the Chronicle. Growing up, read the Sporting Green every day.
David
read the Examiner every day. David Steele is our NBA writer who's now in Baltimore. He's working out in Baltimore. Yeah, David Steele.
Remember? I used to read him all the
this
time.
Week. It would be John Shea with the baseball this week and David Steele with the basketball this week. The Warriors were on the back page by January.
Oh, come on.
That's what we're talking about here, folks. No, I'll talk to Bully about it all the time. I was like, I can't wait to see my team on NBC one day. And the only time the Warriors played on NBC was when they played the Phoenix Suns in the first round of a playoff series, Chris Webber's rookie year, and they traded Webber the next year, and poof, everything with the crap. But
here's what I don't understand. Like, Warrior fans,
it's not all Warrior fans.
No, but a segment of frustrated ones. Like, you've seen they won 4 championships. And right before they won their first one, Oklahoma City broke up what could have been
a dynasty.
Exactly what the Warriors ended up building. Yep. Why? Because the owner didn't want to dip into the luxury tax. You watched it. You've seen it around the league. Michael Jordan was trading. What was the point guard that they traded to the Celtics because he didn't want to go on the luxury tax? It was before Terry Rozier, the other guy, the ball dominant player who dribbled.
Hayward?
From UConn. Kemba.
Oh, Kemba Walker. Walker, you're right.
Kemba
Walker.
For Terry Rozier. But you've seen other teams around the league shave pennies to not go into the luxury tax, and this guy's going above and beyond. Have they nailed draft picks? Yeah, there's a lot of ones that they've missed. I watched the Celtics take top 5 pick after top 5 pick and the 76ers, and both of them have 2 players to call for it.
Yep.
Two players on either side. And they had nothing but picks.
And think about this. The Sixers have won an NBA championship since 1983. The Celtics have won championship since 1986.
Their high water mark is Iverson stepping over Ty Lue in a series they got destroyed in
5 games.
Yeah, right. In the last 30 years.
5 games. 5-game series.
I don't think that. I don't think when we have these conversations about the Warriors, I think the most normal Warrior fans are like, dude, my cup is runneth over. I'd love for them to win another one. I'm all here for the ride, but I enjoy this team so much, and I just want to see where it goes.
But here's the deal, and I get some people may be frustrated with the quote-unquote 2-timeline thing, with the Warriors trying to develop. Listen.
They were trying to get.
Steph Curry just turned 36 today. Draymond Green just turned 34 last week. Klay Thompson's 34 years old. At some point, you have to start thinking about the future. At some point, NBA players in their 30s slow down. Now, we've been lucky with Steph and Draymond's playing it. Look, despite everything that's happened between me and Draymond Green and whatever happened on television, I've said it over and over. On the court,
2 years.
He's been phenomenal on the court. It's been overshadowed by things that have happened on the court that has kept him off the court. You know what I'm saying? That's just, it is what it is. But at some point, guys, slow down. Like, LeBron James is an anomaly. He is. Like, think about Drew Brees in his late 30s. He couldn't throw past 20 yards.
I mean,
and he's an all-time great.
All-time.
But he couldn't throw like Tom Brady is an exception to the rule.
I agree.
LeBron is an exception to the rule. What Kevin Durant is doing at this age is an exception to the rule. So how can you fault Bob or Joe Lacob or Kurt Lacob or Mike Dunleavy said, we need to at some point start thinking about life after Steph.
Look,
it's just he's 36 today.
Can we look at his contemporaries? He has the same amount of titles as LeBron.
Yep.
Whether you think he's better than LeBron, worse than LeBron, whatever. Who are his other contemporaries?
KD.
Okay, he's got more titles than KD.
Chris Paul.
He's got more titles than Chris Paul.
Who else? Giannis.
Kawhi. He's got more titles, even though Kawhi ran through him for one. He's got more titles than him. All right. Paul George.
Got more titles. James Harden.
I'm just throwing names
James Harden,
out.
Russell Westbrook.
Giannis.
Russell Westbrook.
Right? So you look at the other teams that have been assembled during this last 10 to 15 years, and you tell me the organization that has done better at restocking and unloading and keeping the player happy from being disgruntled. Because this is the NBA where one guy can say, I want out.
And Bob said that yesterday. It's different on a team with 15 players as opposed to a 53-man roster. There's friction between, which we saw last season between Poole and Draymond. That basically wrecked the season. They were never the same after that.
Nope.
They were never the same like that. That could wreck a team. But when you think about the cap, because here's the cap figures for the 2023 and 24 season. I have it right in front of me. The salary cap is $136 million. The luxury tax.
That's where the hard part starts.
The salary cap.
Yeah.
136.
Because they have a soft
luxury tax is 165.
Yes.
First apron's 172. Second apron's $182.5 million. So when I think back to some of the failed picks, and James Wiseman, we didn't get into that with Bob Myers yesterday because it was a failed pick. But then I think about it. I'm not making excuses for the Warriors. I'm not making excuses for anybody. We all agreed Anthony Edwards was the bona fide number 1 overall pick in that draft. It would have been great to have Anthony Edwards. It's a pandemic season. Wiseman plays 3 games. Kind of hard to evaluate guys when they only play 3 games and it's a pandemic season and you can't really touch guys, right? What can they do to work out? You missed the pick, all right? Everybody in real time, I think, do you really want LaMelo Ball?
No.
LaMelo Ball's really working on his team? I don't think so. So failed picks are going to happen. But at some point, too, you try to get the best player available in the NBA draft, and you were lucky to get that. Then the next year, you get Kuminga and Moses Moody, and now we see that Kuminga's a player. But also, you still have to think about the future because Klay's coming off the injuries and thinking, I don't know what Klay's going to be like when he comes back from the Achilles injury.
But here's something that you're forgetting. Like, I'm not saying you, but I think we forget. In real time, Klay hurts his leg. A cheap or an inefficient or I'm not dedicated to winning owner doesn't make the deal for Kelly Oubre Jr.
No doubt.
Okay? Now, did that work out? No. But it's not like Kelly Oubre Jr. was free. It cost him $80 million.
No, the pivot and to go get a 2-guard. It didn't work. It didn't work. But you know what, though? In real time, and then we had these arguments. Everybody was so mad about Kelly Oubre Jr. Why did we go get him? Klay got hurt on draft night.
That's what I'm saying.
James Wiseman I was on the show with Sam and Andy on their live podcast on YouTube when the news of Clay came down and they selected James Wiseman. And we all agree, Sam, Andy, and I asked them in real time, I said, Wiseman's the pick here? Yeah, you got to go Wiseman. So this LaMelo Ball crap by people, I don't remember that.
Halliburton has jumped. He went from the Kings to the Pacers, and he's elevated. He's an excellent player now. Now, we could argue about Franz Wagner or this guy in the next year's draft. I'm happy with Kuminga. Right. Would I like him to be farther along? Sure. But I'll tell you this.
He's 21 years old,
I still think he could be an all-star.
He's 21 years old.
That's what I'm saying.
Trace Jackson-Davis is older than Jonathan Kuminga.
That's by multiple years, I believe.
All right, so Kuminga's 21. He's where he needs to be. He's now becoming a consistent NBA player, and we know that baked in. He scored 27 of his last 9. We're good there. I know we got a player. But at some point, you do have to think about the future. But damn it, if Joe Lacob hasn't tried to put a winner on the floor, he spent all this money on his team. They trade for Chris Paul to solidify the second unit, which Chris Paul has been an exceptional player for the Warriors.
That was a great pivot.
It was a great pivot and a great move for the Golden State Warriors. And Chris Paul has been good for them. Now, you may not like Chris Paul and the style of play, but Chris Paul has been really good for this basketball team. And he's fit right in. And I think he's been great for the youngsters.
That's why I want him back.
Kuminga, Moody. Moody's been on record saying, Chris Paul has basically changed my career.
I think what this all boils down to is everyone, and I get the feeling, it's like, oh, the Wiseman pick. So here's what I would say to everyone. Again, you can't just trade a number 3 overall pick or a number 2 overall pick when you are that far over the cap for a player making 17, 25, 35 million. This is not the NFL. Well, in the NBA, the salaries have to match up. And if you have the pick, the quote-unquote pick, it doesn't have financial value attached to it. So this mythical trade that the Warriors should have done with James Wiseman, they missed the pick, period.
No, but here's the thing about the pick.
That trade never existed.
But the pick, not only did the trade not exist, because, I hear this all the time from fans.
They should have traded this guy.
We need to go get this guy. We could go trade this guy and this guy for that guy. But the guy you want to trade, you have said over and over that he sucks. So what the hell do you think you're going to get for the guy you think who sucks? Yeah, he sucks, but you want to trade him for a premium player. I've never gotten that conversation whatsoever. But the Wiseman pick, was that not an area of need for the Golden State Warriors in real time?
Yeah, big man. We're still waiting for a big man.
Pick and pop. And let's not act like, here's the thing, too, about Wiseman. Look, they moved off him. It wasn't a fit here. We all agree it wasn't a fit. It ended up being a bad pick for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Well, let's not act like the guy was starting to get better and better as a rookie. Let's not have revisionist history and say, I get all the plus-minus numbers and all the analytics. The guy was getting better and better, and there was a way to work him in. Play to his strengths, not his weaknesses. And this is where you hear football teams, you hear football players. Adjust to me. I know you have a system in place, but adjust to me and my skill set, which we've seen Shanahan do with Deebo Samuel. We've seen him do it with Christian McCaffrey and his personnel. He's adjusted his system ever so slightly to his personnel. It's true. I wish Kerr did a little bit more of that. And we're starting to see that with Jonathan Kuminga. We're starting to see that a little bit with Kuminga.
Vontae, all I keep thinking about is all these people, oh, this should take a LaMelo Ball. You couldn't stand Jordan Poole's arrogance, but you think LaMelo Ball would have flown in that locker room and with this fan base.
I mean,
I'm asking.
Sometimes it's just delusion.
Sometimes
it's just delusion. So the Wiseman pick doesn't work out. The Wiseman, his rookie year, he didn't stink his rookie year. As an 18-year-old rookie in the league, or 19, whatever he was.
Do you remember what I said that first month?
What?
He might be the second best player on this team right now.
I remember having a conversation with Bully. He's like, Wiseman's legit. Like, we were in there like...
He got hurt, and his confidence was completely zapped and done.
So he's not good. And they moved off of him.
Yes.
Made everybody happy. They moved off of him. Fine. Bad pick happened. But you hit on Kuminga. But I can't blame the front office for trying to find players to help bridge the gap for when they do transition after Steph and after Draymond and after Clay, that you were in a good spot here. Now, we feel like they're in a good spot with Kuminga, and obviously you're going to need more players, but you got to look at it would be sacrilegious to your own self, to your business model, to your organization, to not look for youngsters who can help carry their load
under cost control.
Right.
Under cost control.
Curry just turned 36 today.
But Bonte, here's my favorite one. It's like, they should have traded for Miles Turner. Really?
I mean,
Are we really dying on the Miles Turner, Wendell Carter hill? Is that really what we're doing?
The Warriors just cooked Miles Turner.
I mean,
they just cooked Miles Turner a few weeks ago.
That's my point. You know? We're talking about guys that don't play in the fourth quarter of any important games in the playoffs. Right. Come on.
And you know what? And let's be real. This season is going away. It's gone. It's because guys have underachieved.
The older guys haven't played as well.
Guys have been suspended.
Yeah.
Guys have been hurt. And they just got healthy. Last Wednesday, I know we got a break here, 11. Last Wednesday, when they beat the Bucks, we're like, wow, this is the first time they've been fully healthy since November 28th.
Lasted one game,
Shasky.
I mean, and here's to your point about health. Look, this is not his fault. Clay getting hurt was the big monkey in the wrench.
And even then, he came back and helped you win the fourth championship.
No doubt. But you get what I'm saying? Like it soaked up the salary because it's not his fault. They made it so restrictive to make moves. The guy got hurt.
Yep.
He missed 2 full seasons and came back, and he was admirable. And then last year wasn't as great. And this year now he's accepted another role. It makes it hard to field the team. I just don't think people understand building the team in the NBA is very difficult with the restrictions that are in place.
We're going to take some calls here. Marcus and Antonio will get to you on the other.